Yes, children. Good morning, everyone. So, today we are going to proceed with the same chapter which we had left in the last video. That chapter was incomplete. Yes, chapter number 21. Busy at work are internal organs. Today we are going to see some more points in this part of the video related to this chapter. So, let's see which all points we are going to cover in this video. So we are going to see that how digestion takes place in our body. That is the digestive organs, the alimentary canal and the systems in the body. How they work out all togetherly and carry out different functions in our body, which helps us to do different activities throughout the day. With complete coordination, we can do the activity in a proper and systematic manner. Digestion. Now we all know that digestion takes place in our body. And how does it work out? And which all organs are responsible for this digestive work? So, the alimentary canal and the digestive organs. These both function togetherly and accordingly digestion takes place in our body. So, we're going to see that how these functions. The alimentary canal. We all eat food whenever we are hungry, and throughout the day we have different meals. So this all food get digested in our body, and the substances that get mixed with the blood are formed because of the food that we eat. And this process takes place in the body with the different parts of a long and flexible tube inside our body. You can see in this slide the image of the alimentary canal. So this tube is called as alimentary canal. Know that a tube-like structure is called as an alimentary canal. So the upper end of this tube is the mouth and the lower end of this tube is the anus. Now even if there is a continuous tube going from the mouth to the anus, the shape of this tube is not the same in all its parts. We might have seen different tubes and they are straight in shape. But the alimentary canal tube is not straight in shape. It is flexible and it is long as well. The different parts of the alimentary canal have different structures and its functions. So these different parts are called as digestive organs. That means whichever different parts that are present in the alimentary canal, they are called as digestive organs. Certain glands outside the alimentary canal assist the process of digestion, and because of that only our digestion takes place. Moving on to the next point is digestive organs. We know that these organs are present in the alimentary canal. Now the process of digestion begins as soon as you eat the food, and that food goes to your mouth. Now, when you eat the food, when you take a bite of the food, then who helps you to chew that food? Yes, the teeth, tongue, and the saliva that is present inside your mouth, it all helps to digest the food and to convert this food into a soft, moist ball. And that is called as a bolus, which is easy to swallow. Just imagine when you eat a food and when you take a bite of the food and when it goes directly to your mouth without chewing, then your digestion may not take place properly. So at this time, when you eat and when you chew the food, it properly converts into a soft ball, and that ball is called as bolus, and it becomes easy to swallow. Because when you touch to your throat, you know that this bolus is easy to swallow, and this bolus passes through the esophagus into the stomach. The stomach is just a shape of a bag. That means it is just like a shape of the bag, and here the food is being churned. churning process takes place in the stomach. Some digestive juices are present in the stomach and they help for this digestion process. At the same time, some disease producing germs in the food are also getting destroyed. So the food changes into a thin slurry in the stomach. How the churning process takes place? That is, the churning process takes place when the food reaches to the stomach. We all are aware that mother prepares food in the kitchen and she sometimes uses mixer grinder to grind the spices that she need to put in the vegetable or any other specific dishes. So when you grind certain spices in the mixer, then you come to know that it turns into a powder. Sometimes it is dry, sometimes it is wet. So in the same way, whatever food we are eating, that turns into a thin liquid and then it passes into the small intestine. A small intestine is a place where we store our food and the food that has been stored gives us energy. The small intestine of an adult is about 7 meters. Small intestine, the name is small, but it is big in size because it stores the food throughout the day. That means if you are hungry for 5 to 6 hours, the food that is stored in your stomach gives you energy to do the work. Digestive juices that are present in the intestine that helps for different digestive processes in the body. The secretion of some glands also help in the process of digestion. So, as a result of this, the digestive processes, certain substances are produced and they are useful for the body and gets mixed with the blood. In the small intestine, they are absorbed into the blood. Food that is stored in the small intestine, it gets mixed with the blood that is present in the small intestine. My dear children, you all are aware that a human body, not only a human body, but whatever living creatures that are present on the earth, everyone is having blood in their body. So, this blood should be prepared every time. And there is a blood count for every person on the earth. If it reduces, then you may need to suffer with different illnesses or you may find weakness in your body. So, the food that you are eating, it provides energy to your blood as well as to your body. We know that small intestine stores the food. Just take an example of a bag. If your bag is having a capacity to keep 4 books and if you're trying to put 8 books in your bag, then what is going to happen? Yes, your bag may get 2. So, in the same way, small intestine is having a capacity to store the food. So, whatever food is not required by small intestine, it has been passed on to the large intestine. So, the large intestine of an adult is about 1.5 meters long. Earlier only I told you that small intestine, though it is small, the name is given, but it is big in size as compared to the large intestine. Here large name is given, but the size of the intestine is small. Here much of the water in the remaining substances is absorbed into the body and what remains are the feces or the stools. That means in the large intestine, water is being stored. And other than that, the food that is not been required, it is moved on to the large intestine and it turns into the form of feces or stools. Now these feces collect in the rectum for some time and after that it is been expelled from the body through the anus. That means the excretion of the body takes place through the anus. The excreta that is not required by the body is thrown out through the anus in the form of a motion or urine. You know, the upper ends of both the esophagus and the windpipe open in the throat next to each other. That means if you touch and see your throat, you may get an idea. They are very small, like a small pipe, maybe of a 1 centimeter or something, and the upper ends are open. So when you swallow the food, it goes through the esophagus, and the windpipe is remaining closed for some time. But when you eat in a hurry, or sometimes you do not chew the food, so what happens? The food may enter to the windpipe, and if it goes to the windpipe, then it gets choked, and sometimes you may feel like cough, or sometimes you may feel like vomiting, that the food is going to come out. That is the reason why it is said that you should not eat in a hurry. Chew the food properly so that it moves on to the stomach in a proper way. And because of that only, digestion can take place in a proper way. If you do not chew the food, it will go directly to your stomach, and your stomach may not be proper. And sometimes you may find the difficulty of constipation, wherein you cannot pass the motion properly. And even one more thing we should remember, that whenever we are eating, we should not speak, and eating should not go together. You should eat sitting quietly. Then only proper digestion and chewing of the food takes place. Do you know, if we want healthy teeth, we need to look after them carefully. That means we need to brush our teeth twice a day. Every tooth has a covering of enamel, and it protects the delicate inner part of the teeth. Enamel is the hardest substance in our body, and that is the reason if we do not take care of this, or if we do not clean the teeth properly, this enamel gets corrode. It gets decay, and because of that, our tooth also become, or our teeth get decay, and you may have the problem of pain in your teeth now and then. So it is very important that you should clean your teeth properly. While having our meals, we enjoy them. And how we enjoy its different taste and flavors? Because of the tongue and the nose. We sense them by using these sensory organs. But sometimes when you are eating the food item may not taste properly. That means either it may have foul or bad smell in it. It may be because the food is spoiled. So you should pay attention to such changes in the food. In case the food has really gone bad, one can avoid eating that. Because if you eat such food, it can give you problem of stomach pain, or sometimes you may have the problem of diarrhea. So it can affect your health. So while eating, you should taste the food, and this taste bud is present at your tongue. My dear children, I have told you about the taste bud. This doesn't mean when mummy is preparing some food that may not like you, or that may not be your favorite dish, so you may say that it is not tasty, or you may give excuses because you don't want to eat that. But this should not be done. Whatever your mummy is preparing, that is nutritious and good for health. It will give you proper constituents that are required by your body. So, whatever your mummy is preparing, you should consume that. You should not give any kind of excuses, because these all things are required by your body. Before proceeding further, I need to ask you one question. And this question is based on the first part of the video that you have seen. I hope you all must be remembering that what I have taught you in that part of the video. So can you tell the organs that bring about respiration in our body? Yes, it's nose, diaphragm, lungs, air sacs, and yes, you need to learn that, because in the last part of the video I have told you to draw the diagram in your book. So moving ahead with the systems in the body, you have seen how several organs work together in our body and bring about respiration, And now today we have seen about the digestive organ, about the alimentary canal. Even if we do not, so sometimes you might face trouble, and because of that, some of the functions of the organs may not take properly. But if these organs are not working properly, then the process of respiration may not be completed. So, what is a system? A group of organs which work together to carry out a function in the body. So, it is called a system. It's very important that whatever things are related to one system should work properly. Other than that, if it is not working properly, it is going to affect the other systems that are present in the body. Therefore, the nose, trachea, lungs, and diaphragm together make up the respiratory system. So, each of these should work properly. Just take an example. If you are having a cold, you sneeze continuously, and because of that, what happens? Sometimes your nose doesn't feel a proper sensation, or you may not talk properly. So what happens? You need to sometimes breathe with your mouth because your nose is not, it is completely what filled with cold. So what happens at such time? You need to breathe with mouth. Because of that, breathing takes place with the help of the mouth. That is the reason why all the organs that are present in each part of the body should function properly. And if they do not work in a proper and systematic manner, then it can affect the other organs that are perfectly alright. But because of the one system, other system also gets damaged and they may not function properly. Before ending with this part of the video, I need to give you a small homework. A homework of drawing a diagram of digestive organ in your notebook, and label the diagrams properly accordingly how the labeling is given in your textbook on page number 109. So in this part of the video, we have covered about the alimentary canal and digestive organs and how the digestion process takes place in the stomach. Even we have seen that how the systems in the body work out, and if one system is not working properly, it affects the other systems in the body. So that is the reason whatever we are consuming, we should consume properly, because ultimately it is going to affect our health if we contain unhygienic food or that is not good for health. Maybe it could be a junk food or any kind of soft drinks that can affect our health. So here I complete with this part of the video. Thank you for watching the video. Next part of the chapter, same chapter, we are going to continue in the next video. Till then, take care. Bye bye. Stay safe and stay healthy.